Welcome to our subscriber-only special edition of Amusing PahRooZings. In this bonus episode, we hear deep insights from our peers and experts as they dive deeper into their advanced knowledge and experiences. Join our host, Michael Hobbs, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and chief appraiser, as he discusses perspectives that are impacting the industry and elevating how we analyze assets and improve valuation skills.
Oh, friends, thanks for joining us for another fantastic and fun episode of Amusing PahRooZings. It's our opportunity to catch up with one of our Appraisers on Purpose podcast guests and just hear what they've been up to, what's been on their mind, or what they've been about, as they would say. So, Shawn, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to have these conversations and catch up with you.
Thank you very much. It's one of the enjoyable benefits of the profession by not staying underneath a shell or locked inside a bedroom. You know, get a chance to actually connect with some other people and hear a little bit about what they're up to or what they.
But you set a good example for the rest of us, man.
Thanks, bud.
Expanding. It's always fresh to hear what's going on with yourself and other individuals that are doing their best to make a good living in this profession.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate one of our early guests, Steve Albert, and asked. He's like, "Hey, man, is that podcast world? Is that like good money making?" I'm like, "No, it's a labor of love. I mean, I spend money every single month."
But you're happy. You're happy though.
I'm happy. You know, it's as some people say, it's a hobby. You know, that's how it goes. So, but speaking of hobbies and not so much hobbies, how you been since we last caught up? What have you been up to? What have you been thinking about?
Oh man, I as you can imagine, there is a lot to think about in my world. But the important stuff is, you think about what my kids are up to.
Yeah,
they're all getting older, like all of us, or the kids get older. And, I think since we last talked, I think I've got two. One of my daughters is married now, and the other two are engaged.
Oh, wow. That is a big movement in the Telford household.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Getting it's on my mind fresh because I'm getting, texts today about, hey, how do I put down a deposit for my wedding dress?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun.
Well, I don't know. Let me see. You use your credit card and you make a deposit. That's how that works.
Yeah. So anyway, that's always fun. And my son he's in college and, doing his thing. And,
yep.
So it's fun watching the kids progress in life and enjoying that. It's always good to remind, the important things in life when we face other seemingly challenging things in our profession.
That's true. I mean, nothing like the unexpected. Generally, unexpected is not always positive. The unexpectedness of life to remind us of the fleetingness of it as well.
Yep, that's for sure, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, just enjoying that part of life and
love it.
And that's all, man. From
I was going to say, I mean,
part of the world,
you're going to have to be getting some clothes ready or something. Be walking down some aisles, I'm guessing, here in the near future.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It's fun. It's always fun. It's fun to The other part of this is your family grows, with new sons-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And future sons-in-law and getting to know them, and when you can have adult conversations with your kids about life and business and choices in jobs, and it's just fun. My wife and I are very fortunate, and
that's great.
We enjoy that part of it. So anyway, it's fun to learn, and it reminds me of the benefit of relationships and connections. That is such a significant part of life and happiness.
Absolutely.
And even in this profession, as we go to some of these conferences and such, that those of us that for our jobs, are on the circuit.
Yes.
Even though there are people we don't know superbly well, it's always enjoyable to catch up and spend time and interact and have those points in time. So I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I would agree. That's one of the not so loudly spoken benefits to being involved in a profession like this, where there are such large local and even regional differences.
Mm-hmm.
And by getting an opportunity to congregate, if you will, go conference together somewhere, one, it's a chance to get a little bit of domestic travel. But two, as you said, to meet some people, see some people. I was connecting with a recent guest who had dinner with another podcast guest from a couple earlier seasons, and they didn't know, because the one gentleman's episode hadn't aired yet, but they didn't know that they were both on the podcast. And then I'm getting texts from both of them. They're like, "Why aren't you here at dinner?" I'm like, "I did not make it to the expo. I apologize. I had a prior commitment. I was with the Bloom Growth Coach community." And they're like, "You should be here." I'm like, "Yes, I should, but I wasn't." So, Shawn, I can appreciate that experience that you have.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, my goodness. That is fantastic. So I imagine for you probably just had your feet up on the desk. It's been an easygoing summer, right?
I don't even know what to say to that. The short answer.
No, answer to the question.
Yeah. This is, we're recording this in August, late August.
Yeah,
so,
late August.
It's been this year has been very exciting, and it's been fun to move through the progress around the new UAD, and see all of the activity associated with that.
Yes.
We've said it 100 times, but there hasn't been anything like this in its significance. The first UAD, I was involved with that very closely, and it was a tremendous learning experience and a huge change, but it was fundamentally just turning the appraisal process into a data, right? So it wasn't changing it, but this new version is, updating the data and updating the way that residential appraisers will report things. So that all of the changes and nuances of that, it's fun. As a technology guy, it's exciting to see the capabilities of the new tech come into play.
Oh yeah.
And the enablement there. At the same time, it's daunting to think about all the change for how the industry will operate. And I whenever I have the chance to say it publicly, I like to remind everyone that the expectations of the appraiser under Standard 1 of USPAP are not changing. Nothing is changing about how we as appraisers are expected to form an opinion of value and develop that opinion and be ethical and be independent and so on and so forth. Nothing is changing with that, right? And what is changing is how we fulfill Standard 2.
Yes.
Again, nothing is changing in Standard 2 as far as our appraisers are expected to, report their observations and, to not be confusing and not be misleading. And none of that reporting expectation is changing. Just the way that we report for residential is changing. So I think when we think about it that way, it's a little bit different. The appraisal process it's not just the data collection in the field. It's not just the gathering of information. The appraisal process, you can gather data all kinds of different ways. You can get data from third parties. You can collect it yourself. There's dozens of ways to get that data. But in the end, the appraisal process is the analysis of that data and forming opinions about that data on what the value of this property is. And that is what we're licensed to do as appraisers.
Yeah.
So, a lot of change and certainly a lot more is forthcoming as this process starts. It's going to definitely be one of those journeys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I remember when that first iPhone came out, and my roommate at the time, back in the day, he was so excited, and he's like, hey, he went out that night or something. He's like, hey, I take that back. It wasn't even the iPhone. I think it was the iPod. He's like, hey man, you want to listen to music? He's like, hey, you're welcome to. And he showed it to me, but I didn't really understand what he showed me, so I listened to it, and then I didn't know how to turn it off, and it died. And then he came home from a fun night, and he was a little several sheets to the wind, and let's just say he was not a happy camper. We laughed about it and got past it, but that whole thing, like learning new technology, can be challenging. I mean, there's definitely a learning curve. I mean, now I know how to turn off an iPhone, but back then, the iPod, I had no sense of like what to touch or click or hold or what have you. It was such a foreign experience.
80% of all businesses fail within 5 years, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. With so many roles and responsibilities that must be managed and have nothing to do with appraisal reports, is it any surprise that it's hard to keep up, much less having a sense of peace, stability, and profitability that comes from growing your business? Given all of this, you might already be thinking about exiting your business one day. Don't miss the limited opportunity to work with Michael, a real estate expert and professional coach. He has worked with more than 300 owners and entrepreneurs to find their highest and best use by solving problems that reach their most important goals. Compress decades of learning into days by working with Michael. Michael is famous in real estate and business coaching. With his help, you can accelerate your growth, increase your quality of life, and earn more money, all while ultimately doing less. Michael helps you not just grow your business, but also find new purpose in it and in your life. If you're ready to take control instead of being controlled, contact him on LinkedIn or email him at michaelh@pahroo.com.
It was absolutely foreign. And in many ways, the changes that we're going through now are similar, right? You know, how the appraisers the residential side will do their work is changing. And, you know, and even if we carry the conversation beyond the new UAD and you start to think about all the new tools that are becoming available for appraisers to use that are driven by AI or Gen AI or whatever, it's almost overwhelming when you start thinking about how all of those tools will change how we work.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it's, you know, applications that will help us collecting the data when we're in the field by scanning the house and, you know, measuring and calculating and filling in the form by pulling the observations out of the pictures, or 100 other things, or just the calculation of the adjustments or the analysis of the market conditions. I mean, or writing the text out, you know, when we need to describe a problem. Those tools, it's just amazing to me how much that will affect, you know, how we do our work. So, you know, it's, you know, it makes the changes like, you know, how we write an appraisal report, you know, minute in the overall picture as to, you know, how we will change. And you know, then it also begs the discussion of, you know, what's the most important role of the appraiser, you know, in the future state.
Yes.
And I see a long-term, you know, this Shawn's opinion again, but I see the long-term value of the appraiser being solid in their ability to analyze and synthesize data and produce opinions of value, even if the sources of the information are a lot of automation and automated tools. But, you know, the ability for appraisers to analyze information and form that independent opinion of value is critical. And so I think there's a lot of just really interesting things that we'll see happening in the next, you know, 5-10 years plus, you know, but meanwhile, there's plenty to do with the current approach and with the new UAD and
and so on and so forth. Yeah, no, definitely agree with you on that. I mean, we obviously, anyone who's been around this knows the particular dates. What are you most eager to see happen between now and the end of the year?
Man, that's a strong question.
Oh, thanks. I try not to ask.
In terms of work.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start with work.
I really look forward to the software, the new UAD software, the new processes getting out into the real world.
Yeah.
And then that we begin to learn from all of that. We iteratively learn and improve. So that's fun. I'm also really anxious to continue to see where some of the new tools and new ideas around the use of artificial intelligence can be, employed in our profession.
Absolutely.
In the appraisal space. I think it's never been, this sounds trite, but it's never been more important that appraisers spend time learning and educating themselves on tools and processes. That there's just so much changing and so much moving around, it can feel overwhelming. And when we're educated, we're more able to adapt, in my opinion, and find ways to use these tools to solve the problems of our clients, right? There's all kinds of clients out there with all kinds of valuation and risk analysis problems where they need experts in collateral and collateral risk. And I think there's lots of new ways that appraisers can solve problems and help clients solve their problems in a way that is profitable for everybody.
That is a wonderful opportunity to advance and create new roles and responsibilities that don't even exist today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to say that we'll be defining those, but we really will be. If appraisers are able to define those roles, I think that's the ideal situation. There's always challenges if others begin to define the role of the appraiser. That can not be as ideal as if the appraisers are involved. So I think whether it's your local group of appraisers or trade associations or whatever, being involved in helping shape or push the future towards something that's important to you or the way you'd like to see it is critical.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's truly fascinating. I was just reading an article literally late last night or earlier today, and it was talking about a major consumer packaged goods company, which I just forget the name at the moment, otherwise I would totally mention it, and how of their advertising spend for next year, a significant portion of it is going to be in social media, and specifically they're carving out focus on 20 influencers. And like you think about this, in one sense, it's both familiar and it's completely brand new, because brands for a very long time have affiliated with people of high awareness, sports figures, actors, actresses, even teams kind of thing. But if you would have told people 20 years ago that, you could be very, very well off creating instantaneous capture of experiences that are highly curated, they're like, what are you talking about? And then build a following. And so the reference that they were mentioning earlier is how, and I know of the artist, I don't really know the artist's work, but how within the last 24 hours, there was a particular announcement that Taylor Swift made. And within 1 hour, there were 9 million likes on the post. You're like, that capability did not exist. I mean, you're like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah. The instantaneousness, I guess, is
I'm with that. I'm with you on that.
Of the dissemination of information like that.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fascinating. And we think a lot about, in my own life and in in with my children and family, you think a lot about the risks that poses of not only can good information be disseminated, like somebody be engaged, but just as easily bad information can be disseminated or
so true,
partially true, or we don't want to get off in that tangent, but how do you, as a parent, as a business person, just as a human, how do you sort all that out?
Absolutely.
And know the truth from the fiction. Yeah, I think it's going to be becoming, again, increasingly important that we educate ourselves in how all this stuff works.
Totally agree.
That way we're less likely to be deceived or misled or confused by things. And I don't know how that could be possible these days, but understanding how technology works is one step, and then do your homework, go to the source
on that one.
Yeah.
Completely agree. It is all about having the source data, as they say. Keep that stuff
the source of truth. Yep. Trusted sources that curate the data and make it available. It's a very important, whether you're talking about real estate data or news or anything, it matters.
Completely agree with you on that one. Well, Shawn, always appreciate the opportunity to catch up and just kind of hear what's on your mind. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Always fun to catch up. Take care.
Wonderful, wonderful. Friends, thanks for joining us. And until the next episode, keep enjoying the weather.
Thank you for joining this special subscriber-only journey through our bonus episodes of Amusing PahRooZings. These exclusive sessions let us explore how advanced technologies are revolutionizing real estate valuation and appraisal right at the center of industry transformation. Would you do something for someone you may never meet and that has no cost but has significant impact? Who is one person that comes to mind you can share this valuable resource with who also values learning and growing, possibly even making a big impact in the real estate appraisal world? Please go ahead and share.